Hello, I'm James, or the Western Signalman, and in this episode I thought I'd do a little running session on this. Why? Well, why don't you come and find out? So, as you may or may not know, my diorama layout build, keep changing the name of it, I mean, mine's micro layout, has been picked as one of the 50 finalists at the Rail 200 competition. So it's off to the NEC and you can see it there. But before then, I thought I'd do a little running session. Little Lenny, I don't think he made it. We didn't get an email to confirm or deny. However, I have spoken to Peco and they're pretty sure he didn't, but they're double checking as we speak. So I was more gutted that he didn't make it than I was pleased that I'd made mine, which, you know, he worked really hard on that, but they probably looked at it and went, his dad made that, but I didn't, he made it. That's why I filmed it, to show you him making it. But never mind. Anyway, Wood End is London Brighton themed, but the whole purpose of it was you can run whatever you like on it. It's sort of kind of generic. So I thought I'd give you a Great Eastern running session. Enjoy. It's a grey October morning. Great Eastern Railway's tram locomotive of the Class C53, number 127, arrives at Wood End with a mixed traffic train, consisting of one tramway coach and one free plank wagon. The locomotive uncouples from the train and will have to remove the goods wagon before making its return journey. As the tram is moved into the head shunt, the fireman takes the opportunity to have the tanks refilled. The Great Eastern Railway Class C53 was a class of 12 060 tank steam tram locomotives designed by James Holden for the Great Eastern Railway. They passed to the London North Eastern Railway at the grouping and received the LNER classification of J70. The locos have small tanks, so it's a great opportunity to take advantage of the nearby water tower. The signalman sets the route so that the loco can do its run round. The road is cleared and the fireman is finished filling up the water tanks. The goods wagon is uncoupled from the coach and the tram will move it into the goods siding. The locomotives had 12 by 15 inch outside cylinders driving 3 foot 1 inch wheels, all enclosed by skirting.
They were the first locomotives on the Great Eastern to use full-charge valve gear, and from the 1930s to the 1950s, they were used on the Wisbech and Upwell Tramway and the ports of Great Yarmouth and Ipswich. They replaced earlier Great Eastern Railway class G15 040 tanks of similar appearance. With the wagon uncoupled, the driver gives the signalman the whistle to let him know that he's ready to depart the goods road and return to the carriage in the station. The loco patiently waits at the station, awaiting the guard's whistle before returning to the main line. And with the loco departed, all falls silent on this sleepy little hamlet. A little while later, and the one and only freight service of the branch for the day arrives in the hands of the Great Eastern Railway's Class R24. The engineman must have been in a bit of a hurry because it's still sporting its Liverpool Street destination boards. Today's freight service consists of coal for the local merchant and goods that have come all the way from Kent, courtesy of the SECI. The loco is uncoupled from the train and prepares to run round and remove the brake van. It's common practice at Woodend to water your loco before commencing any other duties. Shunting at Woodend can be quite the lengthy process, so the signalman wastes no time in clearing the road for the R24 to get moving and remove the brake van to place in the middle road. But despite the signalman's intentions, the driver and firemen are in no haste to get moving. The Great Eastern Railway Class R24 was a class of 06 tank steam engine designed by James Holden for the Great Eastern Railway. They passed to the London and North Eastern Railway at the grouping in 1923 and received the LER classification of J67. Some R24s were rebuilt with higher boiler pressure, in which they were similar to the later Class S56. The rebuilt R24s, together with the S56s, were classified as J69 by the LER. These locomotives were very similar to the Class T18 locomotives, sharing the same dimensions for the most major components. They were all built at Great Eastern Railway's Stratford Works between 1890 and 1901. 89 locomotives were rebuilt between 1904 and 1921, with 180 pound-force per square inch boilers and increased water capacity. Most were fitted with air brakes and used in suburban and branch line passenger service alongside the Class S56. The 51 locomotives not rebuilt were used for shunting and working local goods trains. Now, as you can probably tell, I don't have a Great Eastern Railways brake van at the moment, so I've substituted with this North Eastern one. But it's an old Hornby model and had some very coarse wheels, so there was a bit of bobbing up and down. However, I soon solved that problem, and you should see the brake van run smoothly into the middle road. The guard waves the driver on as he gingerly propels the brake van into the middle road, careful not to overrun the limit of shunt. With the brake van out of the way, the driver moves the locomotive back onto the branch so that they can rearrange the trucks to sort out the freight trains. The Midland Railway wagon that was brought in by the tram engine earlier has now been emptied and is ready to take away. So this will be the first to be moved to allow space to shunt the coal truck and the goods van. There is no shunt signal on the goods line due to tight budgets and money-saving exercises, so the signalman will have to get the token release from the box along the line and send the bell code to let the signalman know that he is shunting onto the branch. The middle road, however, does have a shunt signal, and this is because the space between the end of the points and the section starting signal is just long enough to hold a locomotive in a wagon. The daily goods is the signalman's busiest part of the day, and depending on what comes along the branch, there can be up to 3 to 4 wagons to sort out. It may not sound a lot, but in such tight, constrained space, it can be quite difficult to sort such trains out, as will be demonstrated here. Again, there will have to be a request for a token release and shunt intersection sent to the signal box ahead. The signalman will clear the signal and the train will pull forward with all 3 wagons. This is one of the longer moves and will require going over the level crossing just beyond. Whoops, a slight lapse of attention and the wrong lever is being pulled in the signal box. Unfortunately, the signalman remembered to return the correct signal to danger. More frustratingly, the shunters at the main yard have marshalled the train in the wrong order, and the coal wagon should be behind the van and not in front. So this is going to require a few more shunt moves on the branch, much to the disgruntlement of the signalman. The Midland Railway wagon is definitely getting its steps in all these manoeuvres, as the driver intends to keep the wagon to the back of the train. Again, the token is released, the signal is dropped, and shunt intersection is sent to the next signal box. The signalman at Woodend is feeling rather exhausted, and he's not even had his lunch. Rather unexpectedly, and to the guard's annoyance, who was having his lunch, it's decided that the brake van will be coupled up to the train and then the van manoeuvred afterwards. At least the guard was given a chance to put his flask away before being jolted forward as the shunting continues. Once again, the token's released, the signal is cleared, and the shunt intersection is sent to the signal box at the junction. The signaller at the junction is very tempted to phone up Wooden just to find out what is going on and why he has to release the token so many times. He'll be quite grumpy, the signaller. The van can now be left in the middle road. The Midland Railway wagon and the brake van will be moved over to the station platform side so that the locomotive can go and collect the coal truck. On this occasion, due to the length of the train, it will have to be flagged for its shunt by the signalman. With its return train now sat in the station ready, the locomotive can finish off the shunting duties by putting the coal wagon and the goods van in the right order. The locomotive is just ahead of the shunt signal. The signalman clears it, and it's going to be a tight squeeze to get the two wagons and the loco in between the points and the starting section signal. But they'll manage. And finally, everything is starting to fall into place as the goods wagon and coal truck are shunted onto the goods line. And finally, the shunting is complete. The fireman attaches the locomotive to the wagons, the guard does his final checks, and the signalman requests the token before sending the bell code 32 to signify that there's a freight train about to come along the branch. And with the goods departing, the signalman can finally sit down, have a cup of tea, and enjoy his cheese butties. And once again, all is peaceful at Wood End.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. As I say, the layout will be boxed up and taken to one of the locations where I can pass it over to Peco, and you can come and see it at the NEC at the end of the month. I think it's the 23rd and the 24th at the top of my head, for the Peco Rail 200 finals and all the other layouts that are going to be there, obviously, and everything else. It's going to be a great show. I think I'm going to be there both days because Peco will announce the winner on the Sunday, so they've asked me to attend on the Sunday, and I was going to go on the Saturday anyway, so why not make a weekend of it? So if I see you there, come say hello, and yeah, otherwise, hopefully you've enjoyed this. The usual gubbins: like, subscribe, comment, hype, all that, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.
There's plenty more where that came from.